Hey guys, welcome back to BMW Fanatic. In this DIY video, I'm going to show you how to change out your complete valve cover and your gasket on your BMW N54 engine. Now the N54 is on the 135i, 335i, and 535i. So if you have the BMW N54 engine, this DIY will apply to you. So even though I'm changing this out with the BMW OE valve cover and of course gasket and everything, this is going to eventually leak again. And when I didn't want that to happen, and I sourced my valve cover complete kit through fcpeuro.com just so I get that lifetime replacement guarantee, so that way I'm covered. Now the reason why I'm replacing my entire valve cover is that I have 155,000 miles on my 335i, so it's highly recommended that you replace the entire valve cover because these tend to crack. So they do have the built-in PCV system that's right here, which has the ports all through there, but more so it's around the valve cover cracking where you will lead into issues later on if I didn't change this out. So it's a no-brainer with my mileage getting the full replacement. Now, FC Puro also has the gasket as well, and if you wanted to go that route, you still get the lifetime replacement guarantee. I'll put the direct link for the valve cover in the description box below. Head on over to FC Puro so that way you guys are covered. Now, I will be going through a lot of tools in this DIY video. It's going to be highly recommended that you follow that. You can easily break them. People break them all the time. Use a torque wrench. Use the proper tools. I'll link all the tools in my description box below so that way you guys have everything. It's going to be all in order as far as what I'm using it, and then you'll see when I do the DIY I'll be explaining each tool that I have so that way you can relate to make sure you have everything that you need. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this DIY. Since we're going to be dealing with taking off the fuel lines and ignition, we are going to pull the negative terminal off of the battery. Quick little turn here. That way we can remove it. We'll just put it back here. All right, once inside of the battery, have your negative side over here. Go ahead and undo this. Just loosen up just a little bit, and then you're just going to pull it off. All right, first things first, we're going to remove the cowl assembly. You're going to take an 8mm 3/8 drive long extension just so you can get all the way in the back, and then just a few clips to take that off. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove the washer line from the cowl. So you're just going to pull up right here. Next, we're going to move both boxes. There's one here and there's one over there. Just pull back on this tab. There's a little clip right here. And there's a clip back here. Pull it out like that. You're going to pull off your sensor. Twist it until it comes out. You can just go ahead and route this and put this right over here. Same process as before. Move the tab here as well. If you have the BMW alarm, you'll need to remove that. But snake it over here, put it right there. Same exact process as the other side. Tab in the back, tab in the front, pull right out. So two simple 8mm bolts, one right here and one on exactly on the other side. Eight millimeter right here. Next, to remove the wiring from the cowl, you're going to take a flathead screwdriver. Now you're just going to pry in here to help pry it out. Sometimes it can just go and come right out, just like so. These clips right here, you're just going to take the flathead. 1, 2, 3. This will help you release the wiring from the cowl. That way you can pull it all out. So take that hex 5, loosen those up. Now we're ready to remove the entire engine cover. All you have to do, once you get your 2 in the back done and taking those out, all easy to get to, by the way. You're gonna lift up and then out. Quick little glance of everything that we'll have to take off. And I'll show you those steps next. To remove the strut brace, you're going to remove this cover. So take a thick flathead screwdriver. I'm going to turn to the left. That way you can pop it open. So we're going to take our E18 external Torx right here. 1/2 inch drive. On a 1/2 inch drive, long extension. Go ahead and loosen that just a little bit. All right, to remove the other part of the brace here, you're gonna take an E14 external Torx. That one was on tight. You are gonna remove this one all the way. Next, you're gonna move this brace out of the way by just pulling it out, just like that. It's going to be forked in there, so that's why you don't need to remove the E18 all the way out. You're going to take a 13 millimeter and once you have that done, that frees up even more space. All right, next little thing that we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna pop out the O2 sensors from this little bracket. Easy just to take a flathead screwdriver and then just pry on one side and then pull up and then hit the other side and then they'll pop right out, just like that. Go ahead and move to the other one. These both are for your pre-cat. These are your primary O2 sensors for bank 1 and bank 2. Pop those off. And the oil catch can is really easy to remove. We're just gonna pull some pressure off the out hose. Get that out of the way. PCV valve right here on the back. And there's gonna be them all corners. Next, what we're going to do is pull this other back hose off. This will allow us to get to the fuel rail sensor, so that way we can go ahead and pull that off, and then we'll just go ahead and pull off the complete system here, since it is pretty easy to get out. Hose out, just holds on with this nice little bracket right here. The other screw, don't drop that. Get your bracket. I can just snake it on through here, just much easier to remove. And then there's your Burger Tuning oil catch can. All right, next what we're gonna do is gonna take some zip ties here. This will zip tie all our main wires up out of the way. So we're going to take the ground off of the side here. It's going to be a 10 millimeter socket. Off.
pull that aside. So next we're going to disconnect the fuel rail connector. Push down, pull out. So next we're going to release the pressure off the fuel rail right here. So it's going to be a 17mm open box wrench. It's best to take paper towels or lint-free rag. It's always best to work on it when it's cold. Next we're going to undo all these clips here. There's 3 total. So we'll do all the other ones. To make things easier for space, we're going to just go ahead and disconnect O2 sensors. Remember, black one is the longest one, gray one is the shortest one. It's for the different banks. Once you have those, pull those out. We'll sit these on the side over here. Like that, very small. To give us the room to be able to get to all the injector lines, we're going to go ahead and pull out all the coil packs. Let's take a 3/8 drive 12-inch extension, slide it through the open loop here, and pull up. All right, with all 6 coil packs removed, take a rag, and go ahead and release all 6 here. Might have some gas that will still come out. Pull it off, just like that. All right, next we're gonna remove each of the 8mm grounds. So you got 1, 2, and 3. 8mm socket. All right, so what you're gonna do is take your pick here. So the pick is going to get on the connector. So it can pull it out of the way, and then you just pull right on the injector. A pick makes it so much easier to get down in there. You can also use a flathead, small skinny flathead screwdriver. Those also work as well. All right, next we're going to take the 2 E10s external Torx. So we've got an E10 socket right here on a 3/8 drive. These are the ones that hold all the wiring on. Not much torque at all. So next we're going to remove our boost solenoid connectors. So that way we can move this out. Simple clip, pulls right out. Just push down on the tab. We start taking these vacuum lines off. So Other one's right down in here. Pushing the tab, pull out. Move this vacuum line. All right, we're gonna go this route as far as pulling them off from the top. Definitely want to be careful because you will break these tips right here. 10 millimeter right here. Because we have one down here and another one back here. And there we go. That one out. Next, to get enough leverage to pull them out, we are disconnecting the vacuum lines from underneath of the canisters. So quick pull off. And then that will take that out. And with that, go ahead and pull them all the way out over here. All right, taking the zip ties. This will allow us to get this up out of the way. Next, we're going to go ahead and start undoing all the E10s first, and then we'll do the 3 studs that we have there in the middle. You can start anywhere you want. You have 2 all the way in the back here. So take your E10 again with a little extension. Head over here to the front. Knock these out. All right, continue working down the side here. Okay, we're getting closer around the end here. And then before we move in the middle. You're going to want a deep 10 millimeter socket. Now it's not going to go all the way on, but it's going to give you enough leverage to be able to undo it. Now we're going to do our last 10 millimeter stud.
Here's where you're going to take a pry tool to start getting at the valve cover. Now, since mine has 155,000 miles on the original valve cover gasket, it was extremely stuck on. So I had to pry at different little spots, different angles, along the side, along the back, just to release that suction off of that. And that's what I had to do here, so that way I can physically get that valve cover off. Now, even here, it's still kind of rocking back and forth. And what we determine is that a second hand definitely does help really well, because those E10s were still getting stuck on there even though I fully loosened them up. So with that help in a second hand, we were able to unrelease that and then bring it out at an angle to then later
pull off the valve cover, as you can see here, and then put it off to the side. Once you have the valve cover off, you're going to want to clean all the mating surfaces all the way around using a lint-free rag. So that way we can get any oil or any kind of residue off of the mating surface as well. You want to also make sure that none of the gasket pieces broke off or are sitting in there off to the side, still on there. So that way you want to go over to your stock one that you just pulled off and make sure the gasket is either still on there, or you can account for all the pieces that are there. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to clean all the mating surfaces. I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol here, a new clean lint-free rag. So once you're doing that, you want to continue to keep on going through. Anywhere you see any oil or any residue on the mating surface, you want to make sure to get that cleaned off. You want a nice clean seal, so that way for the long run you won't run into any leaks. If you just need to change the valve cover gasket, but not the entire valve cover, all you have to do is start prying it at one part. And nope, look, there you know. What do you know? It breaks. Prying it all the way off. There you go. You have all the old gasket off right here. You want to purchase a new gasket, and you're just going to put it on the same way that you took it off. Make sure all the areas are clean all the way around, because obviously, as you can see with the light, tons of oil are still all through everywhere. So you want to make sure to do that. Next, we're going to go ahead and put on the new valve cover. With the mirror, and we'll just double check the gasket again before we seal it all up and torque it down. You're going to take your 10mm deep well socket to get the studs, and then your E10 to get all the external torques. Double checking that I have least turned them before we start torquing them down. So all looks good. The way you want to torque down the E10s, start in the middle, go boom, boom, outside, then outside, work this way out. So since when I first put them all in and I turned them until they stopped, it evened it all out the gasket. Now you're just adding that extra little torque, that correct torque to do that. So the correct torque is 8.5 Newton meters here. So I'm using a digital torque wrench set on Newton meters. That converts to 6.26 pound-feet of torque. So per BMW, that is the spec as far as 8.5 Newton meters. And there's 8.5 Newton meters. .5, and then this out one. The reason why I'm doing it in this method is because since the torque is so low, I don't want to tighten it too tight with my regular ratchet. There you go, 8.5. It does not take much to tighten these. You have to be careful. Now we can go ahead and route O2 sensors back. Get those back over where they need to be. I'm gonna finish up and careful on these vacuum lines. Route these back over again, underneath everything. Take your vacuum canister. So I took this out. First one connect here. Now's a good time to cut all the zip ties. Get these out of the way so we can start putting a lot of this stuff back together. Zip ties there. Go ahead and attach the 10mm right here, vacuum canisters. Next, we're going to connect the boost solenoids here. I have one right here. The one right here. Next we're going to do the two E10s, aluminum bolts by the way. Not much torque at all. We'll just put them on until they stop. All they do is hold on this to the valve cover. That's it. Just being careful. Next, we'll add the 8mm nuts for all the grounds. Next, we're just going to tighten these 8mm just till they stop. Going to go through and connect all injectors. Take your fuel rail with all your lines and put it in place. To make it easier, we're just going to remove this fuel line. There we go. Sometimes it gets difficult around the fill point. We're going to take those 11mm bolts on the fuel rail. Have to push up the rail a little bit just so they go in perfect.
Chuki B.
This is a Chuki B production.
Fuel rail sensor back here. Got that plugged in. Next, we're going to go ahead and plug in our O2 sensors. Next, you have 3 clips that attach to your fuel rail, which hold on all those wires that you see right there. Ground is a 10mm. Then the positive terminal is a 13mm. We're gonna snake through my burger tuning oil catch can. Tight fit down here. Snake it all the way over. Attach it to the PCV valve. Now we'll do our strut brace, which will slide in through here. So it's going to be that E18. I'll loosen it up just a little bit more. There's a black little cover that you're gonna need to do. Put it back over your E18. Put it at an angle. Take a large flathead, turn to the right. L-lock. All right, next we're gonna install all 6 coil packs. Next, you're going to want to connect your negative terminal. So go ahead and put that one back on. Now once you have everything ready to go, now it's time to pressurize the fuel system. Do not start the car just yet fully. So what you're going to want to do is take your key, on again, off, On again. Thumbs up. Run right along, no leaks. Take your engine cover.
This is a Chuki production. This is a Chuki Beat production.
All right, guys, well, that does it for today. How to properly change out your BMW N54 valve cover itself, including the gasket on there. Like I mentioned, direct kit from fcpuro.com, which includes the valve cover, the gasket, and all the bolts. It's highly recommended to replace that if you're in that higher mileage range, just like what I am at 155,000 miles. But if you want to just replace the gasket, you can do so as well. Lifetime replacement guarantee. Definitely can't go wrong. And of course, all the tools and the gasket kit in general, all in the description box below, so you can check that out. And guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm happy to say that I have no leaks on my N54 as of right now on the valve cover side. Happy I did the DIY, and I'm hopefully that you guys enjoyed it, and that way you can save some money and do it yourself. And as always, please be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, comment below. See you soon. Take care.